Welcome to this week's review. Today we'll be talking about Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. Chapter 9 talks about influencer marketing, social virality, and then Chapter 10 talks about social media used for research. So, let's talk a little bit about Chapter 9. First, let's get this straight. This week, the Chapter 9 quiz is due, and then also next week, the Chapter 10 quiz is due. Don't forget that the student mimic simulation round 3 is due by November 7th, and I'm waiting to grade those all at one time, the 4 weeks, so make sure that you keep up with it. But the last mimic simulation is due on November 28th. Those of you that have decided to forego the mimic simulation, your social media calendar is due on November 28th. Also this week, there is a bonus assignment determining what your clout score is and your influencer outreach plan. I will get to that in a second and how to complete that, but let's jump right into Chapter 9. And Chapter 9 deals with seeding and viral marketing. Now, this is earned social media. So remember, we have three areas of social media. We have owned social media, which is our organic posts on our page. We have paid social media, which is advertising, so paying promotional messages, targeting individuals using the various targeting methods offered by Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and others. And then we have earned social media, meaning viral social media, word-of-mouth social media, and influencer social media, earning our messages. So what does being viral mean? Well, the simplest definition is viral spreads widely and rapidly from one consumer to another. So this is a social media post that reaches a great number of people in a short amount of time. Now, this is all relative to the size of your business and the size of your audience. So the viral cycle time, again, it varies, but imagine that you market a new mobile app. So let's break down the whole process of getting in a customer's friend to adopt the app and into their feed. So the customer first sees your application and your post, and then they decide to try the application. They decide they like the app enough to invite their friends and share your social media post. Next, it creates an invitation, looks up addresses, and we send invites to the friends, right? And then the friend receives the invitation and they decide to take a look. And this is repeated over and over and over in time. Now, this viral cycle time is the time between one adoption and the other. The shorter the viral cycle time, the faster it takes to go through that entire loop, and the larger the viral coefficient, the more people it reaches, the more viral the process is. So let's think about the viral process with a YouTube video. You see a funny YouTube video, you share it with 4 or 5 people. They see it, they share it with 4 or 5 people, so on and so forth. The viral cycle time, the faster it takes to go through that whole loop, and the larger of the amount of reach means the more viral that process is. So how to make the process more viral? Obviously, having a viral video or having a viral social post is very difficult. It's not as easy as creating a post and it going viral. You just can't plan for virality. But you can make it easier for things to go viral. So these are 4 things that we need to do. We need to make sure that whatever we do, we make it easy to share with people, meaning that our articles on our website or our videos have social share buttons. They're easy to share, right? The sharing mechanism should drive conversions, right? Meaning the probability of adoption upon learning about it. The adoption should be as fast as possible. Receiving a link and opening it up and making it very uncomplicated makes it the adoption time quicker, which makes virality higher probability. And then from time to adoption to sharing with others should be as short as possible, thus leading to a shorter viral cycle time. And it's really important that we keep in mind, again, that not everything can be viral. So another way to help promote our messages is by working with influencers and working with the right influencers, meaning finding seeds and allowing them to spread our message to their masses. And let's think about the traditional marketing plan, the traditional marketing vision, right? You have a company and you have a limited access to consumers, right? The company shares its marketing information with consumers, but it comes from the company. So it looks less reputable. Let's face it, who are you going to believe? A company that's telling you or your friends and family telling you about that company? Of course, when you buy a car, even when you sign up for classes at college, you don't take the professor's word for it that this is going to be an awesome class and a fun class, right? You're going to take your friends who have advice who have taken this class before. It just leads to a more believable experience. Same thing is said for your business and using influencers for your business. You want to find people that are experts in that industry, experts with that subject matter to help you spread your message, because it's going to be more believable if they say it, right? So as a company, you need to find these seeds. You need to find these influencers. But how do you do that? Well, this goes back to your bonus assignment. And one of the tools that we use for finding influencers is a tool called Klout. And Klout is just one of very many tools that allows you to find industry experts, and it assigns a score from 1 to 100 of how influential that person is on social media. Doesn't mean how many followers they have, but in essence, how influential they are with their followers. How many? What is their engagement with their followers? So again, you want to find people with a higher than average score. Here's me, for instance. My Klout score currently is 37. Not tremendously great. If you take a look at my Twitter feed, I have over 1,000 followers. However, my score is not as high as, let's say, Justin Bieber, right? A 100 score, which is pretty hard to get. Robert Conway has a 48. The Affleck Duck has a 47. Margaret Cho, the comedian, has a 64, and Sarah Palin has a 72. So what you want to do is find somebody with a higher than average Klout score. And you can use Klout to find these individuals with a higher than average Klout. In fact, you can use Klout to help you find people in the industry you're looking for that are experts in their field. So if you take a look at this, I typed in Ohio State, big win for Ohio State Buckeyes. So let's say that my company sells Ohio State merchandise, right? I want to find social media experts that can help me spread my message about Ohio State merchandise and different things like that. I would use this to search the Ohio State Buckeyes. Just go ahead and type in Ohio State Buckeyes right here. And right here, top experts recommend experts to follow. So these are the top Ohio State experts in the area. It looks like the Buckeye Nut has a Klout score of 64, which is pretty high. Jermail Hines, who plays for the Buckeyes, has a 76. Ari Wasserman, who writes for Cleveland.com, is 61. Raekwon McMillan, 48, plays for Ohio State. FMC, Jordan Hall, also plays for Ohio State. But these are all influential people, so you can actually, in fact, find experts to help you spread your message. Now, influencer marketing, while it is the earned portion of the three-legged stool, you might have to pay some of these influencers to help you spread your message. So going back to your bonus assignment, what is your clout score and influencer outreach plan? I'm asking you to go ahead and create a clout score. Just go to klout.com and then connect it's free to sign up for, and then connect your social media accounts to them. And then what I want you to do is take a screenshot of your clout score, take it with your cell phone, or use Command Shift and the number 3 on your on your Apple. Use the print screen on your PC. And then put it in a Word document. Then I want you to identify 3 influencers with a high clout score to represent your brand in an influencer plan. All right. This example here, I would contact this Tony Gerdelman, Ari Wasserman, and maybe the Bucknuts Twitter to help me be my influencers for my influencer plan. And then describe in a paragraph too the types of messages you would like them to share for you. Again, I would want some promotional messages, being that I'm an Ohio State merchandise company. I would put together three posts that would say, "Hey, for great material, check out this great Ohio State Penn State program from last night's game. Go to Sean Canary's Ohio State store and go ahead and buy it." So this bonus assignment will allow you to earn up to 20 extra points by notifying me what your clout score is and 3 influencers of your choice for your industry. And tell me in a paragraph or 2, and take a screenshot of your influencers. Tell me in a paragraph or 2 what messages you would have them post. So going back to chapter 9, we talked about the influencer plan, right? So companies using social interactions for distributing content, launching new products, and generating product-related word-of-mouth marketing, that's a viral marketing campaign. And we discussed how I would use it if I was an Ohio State reseller. So what makes viral marketing so popular? Well, like I said, information from a social source, e.g., for example, a friend, is more influential than when it comes directly from a company. This is why influencer marketing is so important. The cost of reaching and converting the consumer segment is lower with social media channels than with traditional channels. Think about it. The average cost per paid advertisement on Facebook is 86 cents a click, as opposed to a TV commercial, which can cost you around $3,000 a day. So it is very, very cheap and economical to reach out to influencers and to help purchase social messages. Selecting seeds. We talked about how to select seeds. So both social hubs and pumps in your group of seed customers. They have to be both hubs and pumps in the industry that you're choosing. And they have to be a product category expert, passionate about the product, and be easy to relate to. And again, that tool, that clout score tool, will help us find those influencers that are very easy to work with. So incentivizing your seeds or your influencers, marketing interventions are needed to nudge seeds to help spread their information. A lot of times we have to prepare pre-written messages, social messages for our influencers to share. Although we don't want them to do a Scott Disick move here. Scott Disick is a known social media influencer, and what happened was his Instagram feed got he screwed up. So the company sent him an email. It said, "At such and such time, please post this caption with this image." And of course, Scott Disick did not do the rules, and instead of instead of doing it right, he screwed it up. And I'm going to show you what he wrote here in a second. There you go. So the agency or the company that this tea shake that told him, that contacted him as an influencer and said, hey, we'll pay you to be an influencer, they emailed him and said, here you go, at 4 p.m., write the below caption. Keeping up with the summer workout routine with my morning boutique protein shake. And as you can see from this post, he just copied and pasted the entire email into his Instagram feed. So he screwed up and he pasted the part where he wasn't supposed to paste. However, while this was really bad, this is exactly how you should proceed with your social media influencers. You should pre-write these messages for them. That way they share exactly the message that you want them to share. Right? Finally, it's important to understand the spillover effects from viral marketing campaigns. It's important to know that that your brand will have spillover effects from product to product. It's important to know that as you work with influencers, that other products that you have to offer will benefit from the effects of working with influencers. So chapter 9, make sure that you read chapter 9 and then take the quiz, which is using earned social media, seeding, and viral marketing. Then go ahead and sign up for a free Klout score. Take a screenshot of your Klout score, and then go ahead and search for your industry, for your business, whatever it may be, and find some experts that you could use as influencers. Take a screenshot of this page, and then go ahead and submit that to me for a bonus opportunity of, I believe I put it as, let's see, 20 extra bonus points. So you have the opportunity to earn up to 20 extra bonus points. So very cool stuff. So let's talk briefly about chapter 10, which is the next chapter. Now, chapter 10 deals with using social media as marketing research. So what's wrong with traditional marketing research? Well, there's nothing really wrong with traditional marketing research, except it is very expensive, right? You have to pay consumers to participate. It's very expensive to generate the data. And people know when you're doing surveys, they know you're asking about it. So sometimes it could be skewed. It could be skewed. When you're asking people to take surveys or participate in a study group, sometimes they tend to be on the side of the product or company because they may be skewed by it. And it also, social media or regular marketing research can be intrusive, right? What you hear always depends on what, when, and how you ask, right? So if you catch somebody on the phone doing a survey at the wrong time, they could give you a big howdy doody and say, get the heck off my phone. I hate you. I hate your product, right? You could be influenced by that, right? So how can social media help with marketing research? Well, social media allows us to listen to people and listen to people talk about certain brands and get a better idea. It's very cheap since you don't have to pay participants. Continuity, social media never stops and they never stop talking. And plus, you can listen to people and be invisible. You don't have to be heard or be seen listening to people. And one of the best tools out there is called Hootsuite. And you all have an opportunity to sign up for Hootsuite for a free trial period. Just go to Hootsuite.com and sign up for a free social media Hootsuite account. And you can actually set up listening feeds to monitor what people are saying. So all you have to do is hit Add Stream, and then you can actually listen for things people are saying. So let's show some examples of the types of queries that you can listen for. So you can use all these different formats to measure people saying certain words, both words, the exact phrase, phrases with multiple keywords, keywords minus a certain keyword, certain hashtags you can follow. You can follow people, certain social media feeds. So if you have competition, you can follow, you can set up a stream of just everything somebody says from that account. So for instance, if I'm competing with Baldwin Wallace University, I can listen from and see every post that Baldwin Wallace posts, right? I can also listen for every time my handle or my brand name is used. I can have I can listen for everything with a positive attitude, and then everything with a negative attitude. Now, sentiment is very hard to measure because people are sarcastic, right? Now, if I said, "Oh, the Browns played so awesome today," a lot of you know I'm being sarcastic because they lost again today and they're 0-8. But if I post that social media online and I use this Browns smiley face, right? My post would show up as being a positive post, even though it was meant to be negative because I was being sarcastic. Again, you have to be careful with sentiment because it can be hard to monitor. You can use a question mark with your keyword. That way you can answer questions from people asking questions. Let's think about this. If you were a bank and people are asking, well, how do I save money for this? Or how does a 401k work? You can actually listen and answer those questions. So think about that, engaging people for their questions, right? Let's think about that. Let's say that we have a Mexican restaurant. Let's say Mexican food, and let's use a question mark. There's this cool little feature that allows you to append the location to find people in your area talking about that keyword. So what this does is it bases it off of your geo coordinates, and then it puts a 25 kilometer radius around you, and you can adjust that down. So I can adjust that down to 10 kilometers or keep it at 25 kilometers. And what this will allow me to do is to add a stream looking for people talking about Mexican food. So if I had a Mexican restaurant, I can look for people talking about Mexican food and find those people, that are talking about Mexican food. Maybe I just want to try food, right? Oh, food allergy. Do I need an allergen-free treats, or can I offer a traditional non-free treat? These are all people in my area asking questions about food. Anybody want to go get food when I get out of work? I am dying in Lakewood. So if I was a restaurant in Lakewood, I would go ahead and be able to respond to this person and say, hey, we have a happy hour special going on right now. Come to my Lakewood restaurant and enjoy a free appetizer. So you can see how setting up listening can help with marketing research and with marketing and advertising itself. Now you can go ahead and set these streams up to listen for any particular keyword you want. For instance, if I own a shoe store, I can use new shoes. Well, LeBron's new shoes look like fish scales. Well, maybe I can contact this person and say, hey, listen, you're in my area. I'm selling those new LeBron 15s that look like fish scales. How about coming over and buying them? So if I was Nike, I can actually create a social stream here and say LeBron 15. Now I can see how many people are talking about LeBron 15 and see if it's positive or negative. Well, I got one negative that says it looks like fish scales. I actually like them. I think they're kind of cool. I would never pay $200 for a pair of shoes, but that's because I'm old. Jordan shoes were $95 when they came out. When was that? 35 years ago. Good God, I'm old. But anyway, but yeah, uh, I could listen as Nike to see what people thought uh, of my new shoes. So it's a very powerful Hootsuite's a very powerful tool to identify people talking in your area. Again, go ahead and sign up for a free Hootsuite account. It's absolutely free. And go ahead and set up your social media accounts and start listening to people. Very cool. So getting back to chapter 10, uh, using social media for metrics available for collection. Okay, we talk about reach. Those are the number of people who are exposed to a Facebook ad. Change in community size. This is a positive or negative change in the number of fans and followers you may have. And then engagement metrics. Remember, engagement is likes, comments, shares, retweets, and repins. Right? An engagement rate is that percentage. That is the difference, is that number of engagements divided by your community size. For instance, if the number of posts that the number of likes or engagements you get per post is around 7, and you have 1,000 followers, well, you could do the math pretty quickly and find out that your engagement rate is 0.7, right? 1,000 fans, 7 average, 7 average engagements. So your engagement rate per post is about 0.7. And this will help you establish, again, what your benchmark should be. Now, it's important to measure your positive and negative and neutral sentiment too, and Hootsuite was a tool that you can use to measure the number of posts that are positive versus the number of posts that are negative, right? And you want to compare that with your brand with other brands. That way, you can see again identifying if your brand is strong or people have problems with your brand. It allows you to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Very easy to do this with some of the tools out there. One of these tools that is used a lot is called Sysomos. Radiant 6 is another one. Viral Heat is another one. Buzzient is another one. Actually, Hootsuite, you can measure positive and negative sentiment by using the that tool where you can go in here. And we can add a smiley face. And now we can say, okay, these are all our positive tweets out there. But this is a very simple tool. So these examples of Sysomos and Buzzient, these give you a pretty easy way to count positive and negative sentiment. Finally, some caveats of social media marketing research. Sentiment scoring is and related NLP, natural language processing, are not perfect. I gave you an example of that, that sarcasm. You don't know much about the sample, which is unlikely to be representative of the general population. The people doing all the talking may be extremely vocal minorities, so your conclusions may be biased. That's just, we talk about elections. The people that are talking about elections, we witnessed this in November. The people that were talking a lot, we thought that one party was going to win hands down. Well, it turns out that a lot of people that weren't talking, that they didn't poll, ended up voting, and the other side won. So again, you don't know. Surveys aren't perfect. Social media research isn't perfect too. It also works best for large, well-known consumer-facing brands for which consumers generate lots of content every day. You saw my example where I put in Mexican food in this area and it didn't pull up any tweets or any social media posts. It's because not a lot of people within 20 kilometers of my location right now are talking about Mexican food right now. I had to whittle that down to just food to get people talking about food. So again, your brand may not be well known enough that enough people are talking about it. right? So you have to keep that in mind when you're doing it. And then also the technology behind the social media monitoring uses keywords. So if the data used for the analysis could become contaminated for your keywords, are generic or used by others. Think about that. Think about the brand Kleenex, right? Kleenex probably has a hard time monitoring social media because it's a generic keyword, right? I'm going to grab a Kleenex. They could be talking about a Puffs tissue. They could be talking about a generic tissue. It's not an exact science, especially if your product has a generic keyword. So those are some things to keep in mind when we're talking about chapters 9 and 10. So again, your assignment this week was to read chapter 10 and take the quiz, or chapter 9 and take the quiz. Next week is to read chapter 10 and take the quiz. Again, your Stukent Mimic Simulation Round 3 is due on November 7th. And then also, I put in there, what is your Clout Score and Influencer Outreach Plan bonus assignment, which is also due November 7th. If anybody has any questions, please contact me at my email address, and I'd be more than happy to help you out. Until we talk again, have a great week.